Welcome to all our viewers to our live broadcast here at Africa Report News. My name is Tuso Kumalo, coming to you live from Johannesburg, looking at things that are happening around you here in South Africa and across. Of course, we give you stories that are local and, of course, international stories across the globe. Please remember Africa Report stories. And remember to subscribe. Always remember to subscribe and share it with friends and relatives. Today, we want to, in this part of the episode, we want to talk about Zimbabwe's independence. We saw yesterday thousands coming out of Zimbabwe, out of their homes, going to different places to gather and celebrate the country's 44th independence. Congratulations to Zimbabweans out there for that celebration. Just tell us, what were you doing yesterday? Did you go out? Did you listen to the president speaking? Did you go to different parts of the country? What did you hear? What did you see? What are people saying there on the ground? Please just share that information. Go to our comment section and share with us there what your experience is. And if you've got any pictures, please share and show us what was happening wherever you were. But the main celebrations were happening at a place called Murambinda. This is in Manicaland, where the president, ministers, and other officials were gathering there, including, of course, we saw some ambassadors also coming there just to congratulate Zimbabwe for reaching 44 years in freedom. And we heard from the speeches from the president that he said Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans are resilient. They've managed to come out of a number of crises that the country has faced, saying even now they are going to come out of a lot of problems. We know that currently Zimbabwe is facing severe hunger, and the president just declared a state of disaster so that aid could be allowed to come into the country for people to survive. So it is under that situation that the fourth independence is happening, where a lot of Zimbabweans, they are facing quite severe drought. We have seen Kekli dying in different parts, especially in the part of Matabeleland. There, the situation is just die, because people are saying also they don't have places where to send their Kekli, and of course they don't have money to buy the feed, and that spells a disaster. So it's happening at that particular time. But President Emmerson Mnangagwa coming out strongly in his speech, saying Zimbabwe now has this currency called ZiG, which means Zimbabwe dollar, Zimbabwe gold, backed by gold. So saying they are hopeful as a government that everything is going to go well. Their currency is going to help the country to rebuild again its economy. We know that the economy of Zimbabwe, as we speak, is largely informal. And some experts have put unemployment at around 80%, some even going up to 90%. So that's showing you a very dire situation there economically. And of course, people have sustained themselves by selling things, vegetables, going out of the country, buying stuff and going back to sell there. So this is how Zimbabweans have survived. But the president saying they have now seen some industries coming up and growing and being opened, giving hope that things will get better. Tell us your experience. Is it your experience that the situation is getting better? Is it your experience that the industries are opening? And what is your experience about ZiG? Just give us a comment and tell us what you think about this new currency. What have you seen? What we are gathering from the ground at the moment is that there is some kind of confusion and commotion on the ground, because according to the government, the new currency will be released on the 30th of April. But already on the ground, citizens and people that we speak to are saying where they want to use the Zim dollar, no one is accepting it. Shops are not accepting it. And in transactions, whether they want to buy electricity, they're facing difficulties there because people don't want to be left carrying that Zim dollar. That's likely to be off the market by the 30th when the ZiG comes in. So the situation has created a problem where the new currency is not there, and the present currency, people have no more trust in having it. And so that chaos there. Can you tell us what is your experience now because of the introduction of this ZiG? In your case, has it improved? Do you have it now? Or are you facing problems? Just share with us, and remember to share our link to this broadcast, Africa Report News. Please remember to share with friends and relatives, and subscribe. If you have not subscribed, please just subscribe so that you can keep on sharing whatever we get with you there. But the president back to his speech again, saying the economy is showing signs of growing, saying the country's GDP, the gross domestic product, has gone massively from $16 billion in 2018 to about the current $47 billion in 2024. So saying this is a sign that Zimbabwe is coming out of the issues and growing and rebuilding again. And of course, tourism, he also mentioned that it has grown by about 34%, which is quite massive, especially in these economic times. And of course, coming out of COVID with a lot of people restricted in terms of traveling because of the resources that were depleted during that COVID time when industries and people were not operating. So that's quite a number. But is it what you feel? Do you see more tourists in Zimbabwe than we have seen before? Are they increasing? And for the communities like those in Victoria Falls, do you feel it? Are you now getting more income from the tourists that are coming in? Those around the Hwange National Park, just give us your experience. Are you getting more from the tourists that are coming around? Do you see them increasing? Just give us your experience. Go to our comment section and share with us whatever information you have there. And one thing that the President Mnangagwa mentioned is that the youth service is coming back. We know in those days it was called the Bodagezi Youth Service because of the minister who introduced it at that time. And of course, there were a lot of questions around it at that time, whether it was useful or not useful. But President Emmerson Mnangagwa was saying it's coming back, and the youngsters are going to be taught to be patriotic to their nation. If you're a youngster out there, do you think the youth service is for you? Should it be introduced? Do you understand why it's introduced? Do you think it's okay that you be told or taught how to be patriotic? Is it something that you value? Is it something that you think it should happen? Just share with us what you think around that issue. And lastly, the president gave the nation a gift by releasing up to 4,000 prisoners. This is what they have always been doing, even during the former president, the late Robert Mugabe. It was happening that way. And of course, this year again, it happened. Prisoners have been released, but that excludes prisoners with serious crimes like your murder, your rape, and of course, those that got the clemency should have had served about 1/3 of their sentence by yesterday. So quite some release there. What do you think about the release of prisoners? Your relatives coming back home earlier than expected. What do you think? Your neighbor who stole your goat coming back earlier. How do you feel? Do you feel it's fair? Whatever. Just share with us, but please remember to subscribe. Africa Report News, so that we give you stories, we give you news around here. And when we come in our next bulletins, we shall be telling you about what is happening in Gaza. And of course, what is happening between Iran and Israel. Experts are saying we are likely to see a fully fledged war there if things are not managed and controlled, because already we had these missiles being fired from one part to the other. Please just bear with me for the phone that's ringing there. But the most important thing is that in the Middle East, we need the UN to come in and the Security Council to come in and step its foot and make sure it stops these things from happening. Because Iran is saying Israel fired first, and now Israel, this morning, early morning, Israel retaliated. And we don't know what will happen now. Because Iran, the president has vowed that if Israel dares to send any more missiles there, they will regret it. And of course, we know already from what we've seen in Gaza, war is not a child's park. It's not a joke. So things should be arrested before they go out of control. We saw it when it happened with Russia and Ukraine, and the whole world was shaking economically and otherwise. So we don't want to see that happening again. So these are some of the issues that we're preparing to bring with you. And of course, my colleague Bongani, she has been in Israel. She saw quite a lot of things that we're going to be sharing with you very soon. Things, her experience there in Israel on the ground, along the Gaza border, in the caves where, for the Christians, where Jesus was born. She has been in those places, in the places where of course, the people were attacked in Israel. She was there. And of course, she spoke to some of the Palestinians there on the other side of Israel, just to hear their views and to give you a picture of what is happening, so that you can see that if there is more countries fighting Israel, the situation could just get out of control. From me to Sokumalo in Johannesburg, bye for now.